Good day, everyone, and welcome to our daily meditation. There was quite a good response to the story that I related last time. I have another story about the first encounter I had with an angelic being 40 odd years ago. So if you're interested, I'll relate the story to you, which I found, well, life transforming. Well, we just sit comfortable and relax and take a few deep breaths to bring ourselves present. Well, this story began when I was a project manager on the decommissioning of a gasworks in the centre of Sheffield, a place that a film that was made about some workers, ex-workers of the steelworks, was made at the time. They finished up as a dancing duo on stage. But in this case, I was sat there in the middle of this island, and around me just dereliction. Steelworks had been either demolished or abandoned. And there was a terrible feeling of depression. I couldn't shake it off. Day after day, week after week, when returning to work, it turned into a dread. But this particular day, I couldn't bear it anymore. So at mid-afternoon, I just put down my pen and pencil and walked out to the site, left all the workers working away, and just abandoned everything because I just couldn't cope with it being so difficult to bear. I thought, my God has abandoned me. How can I cope with these feelings? And I knew that it was to do with the residents that people left who were still creating, because the unemployment rate was skyrocketing in the area. So I walked across the rubble, the dust, into the abandoned buildings, searching for some sort of relief. But eventually the sense of duty returned, and I walked slowly back to the workplace, towards the gates that were the entrance to this high wall that surrounded this project that was taking place. And there to greet me was this beautiful being. I didn't know what an angel was at that time, but it was about 10 foot tall and 8 foot wide, or 3 meters by 2 meters for those thinking metric. And its face was so benevolent, so uplifting. It just transformed that feeling from deep depression into overwhelming joy. And of course, converted that sorrowful feeling and horrible look on my face, perhaps, as I walked into the site with a great silly grin on my face. They must have thought I'd been to the pub and had half a dozen pints of beer or something, because it left me with the feeling that we were all accompanied by these beings, all waiting to be there for us at the depth of our, or whatever crisis we might be facing. And so it began a whole series of relationships I've had since. And perhaps I'll share them here as the weeks go by. But let us take that, perhaps that, if we pick up on that feeling of joy, that feeling of relief and lightness that the inner worlds, the subtle beings provide to us whenever they can, whenever we're open to it. Let us take those feelings as we relax further into our chair, closing our eyes or squinting if we need to, as we connect to that love, that light that is always to be found deep within our being. And the more love that we feel, the closer that connection is and can be. And allow that radiance, that love, to fill all parts of our body, our fingers, our toes, our feet firmly planted on the ground. As that radiance, that light and that love moves out to include everyone here and continues until the whole of the humanity is embraced by it. So let us allow that love, that light to hold us whilst I read the guidance received by Eileen Carey. You must learn to stand on your own 2 feet and find your own individual path to function in the overall plan. Draw only from me, the source of all life, all creation. Then you cannot go wrong. Never waver when the going becomes difficult, but simply go steadily forward, knowing that it is but a rough patch you're moving through. The quicker you move through it, the better, with as little resistance and resentment as possible, learning important and necessary lessons every step of the way. You must learn to hold on, to be very patient and persistent, and not to give up easily. Hold the vision before you. Know where you are going and what it is that has to be achieved. And then never let it go until you have seen it brought about. You cannot be faint-hearted in this life. It calls for that inner strength and knowing, which nothing can shatter or throw off balance. And I'll read these words once more as our meditation comes to an end. Let us continue to feel that love and that light holding us, supporting us, providing all that we need as we go into our day. I'll read guidance received from Irene Cuddy once more before we go. You must learn to stand on your own feet and find your own individual path to function in the overall plan. Draw only from me, the source of all life, all creation. Then you can't go wrong. Never waver when the going becomes difficult, but simply go steadily forward, knowing that it is but a rough patch you are moving through. The quicker you move through it, the better, with as little resistance and resentment as possible, learning important and necessary lessons at every step of the way. You must learn to hold on, to be very patient and persistent, and not to give up easily. Hold the vision before you. Know where you are going and what it is that has to be achieved. And then never let it go until you have seen it and brought it about. You cannot be faint-hearted in this life. It calls for that inner strength. It calls for that inner strength and knowing which nothing can shatter or throw off balance. Let your strength and security be in me. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for helping to extend this radiance of love and light. And we'll see you again soon. Good night. God bless everyone. God bless.